Today's math lesson is 14-7, and we are also going to be doing the review paper, the reteaching paper. So see if you can have both of those ready for today.
Read and understand. Rosalie made a table about things that live in a forest. What is the table about? The table is about how many legs each animal in the forest has. How many legs do birds have? Birds have 2 legs. How many legs do spiders have? Spiders have 8 legs. How many legs do insects have? Insects have 6 legs. How many legs do fish have? Fish have 0 legs. How can she show the information in a graph? Let's think about it. Plan. Rosalie could use a bar graph. First, list the different kinds of animals. Then number the bottom. Write numbers up to the greatest number in your list or just beyond. What do the numbers at the bottom of the graph mean?
So the numbers that are down here are the number of legs that each animal has. You have to think about what kind of information she was collecting when she made her graph. She wasn't going around asking people what animal they liked best. She was counting the number of legs that each animal has.
The numbers at the bottom of the graph mean the number of legs for each animal. Now, title the graph Animal Legs. Color boxes to show the number of legs of each type of animal. Solve, look back, and check. Compare the graph to the table.
We can see that they use the information from the table to fill in the graph. So birds have 2 legs. They filled in 1, 2 boxes. Spiders have 8 legs, filled in 8 boxes. For each thing on the chart or on the table, they filled it in on the graph.
Birds have 2 legs. Spiders have 8 legs. Insects have 6 legs. Fish have 0 legs. The colored boxes match the numbers in the table. A bar graph makes comparing numbers easier. Which bar is longest? Why? The bar for spiders is the longest because spiders have the most legs, 8. Which bar is longer than the bar for birds, but shorter than the bar for spiders? It is the bar for insects. Why isn't there a bar for fish? Fish do not have any legs. You learned to make a bar graph from a table.
Okay, so we're going to be working on our paper together. Have it ready. If you have crowns, you can use them to fill in your graph. You will also need a pencil to do some writing. On the very front page, we are looking up here at science subjects. So these are things that the kids learned about in science. And what it shows us is a tally mark for each person who picked it as their favorite science subject. So plants, animals, rocks, and seasons. So somebody went around to each kid in the class and asked them, what did you like learning about best in science? 4 people picked plants as their favorite science subject. 7 people picked animals as their favorite science subject. 2 people picked rocks as their favorite science subject. And 4 people picked seasons as their favorite science subject. Now we're going to fill in the graph. This graph is a little bit tricky. I never really like the way it's put on our paper, but you can figure it out as you go, and it doesn't really matter if you're a little bit off on these lines, just as long as we fill in each box going across. So you can see we've got the title of the graph, science subjects, plants, animals, rocks, and seasons, and then numbers down at the bottom. So for each of these numbers, that means it's a person who chose that as their favorite subject. So the first thing we're going to do is pick a color for plants, any color you want, and we're going to fill in 4 boxes. So you're going to color in 1, 2, 3, 4 to show that 4 people chose plants as their favorite science subject. Pick a different color for animals, any color you want. When we look up here, we see that 7 people chose animals as their favorite science subject. So you're going to color in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the animals part to show that 7 people chose animals. Then we're going to look at rocks. 2 people chose rocks as their favorite, so pick a different color for rocks and color in 1, 2. 2 boxes for rocks on our chart or on our graph. And for seasons, pick your last color, and we're going to fill in 4 boxes on the graph because 4 people chose seasons as their favorite. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we can answer the questions below by using our graph. So it says which is the favorite subject? Favorite means it got the most votes. Look at your graph. Plants had 4, animals had 7, rocks had 2, and seasons had 4. Which one has the most or goes out the farthest on the graph? It should be animals at 7. So we're going to write the word animals on the line for number 1. Number 2, which subjects got the same number of votes? So we have blank and blank. So when we look on our graph, which ones were at the same spot? Well, plants had 4 and seasons had 4. So we're going to write plants and seasons. Use your words from the chart to fill it in for your question. Plants and seasons. Which received the least number of votes? For number 3, remember least means the smallest amount. So look on your graph, which line is the shortest or the smallest? We should be able to see that rocks went over to number 2, 1, 2, and that is shorter than any of the other lines. So let's write rocks on the line for number 3. When you're ready, go ahead and open up your math paper to the inside. It says, Alec counted the days it snowed. He wanted to compare snow days by month. Make a bar graph to answer the questions. So we're using the information on this chart, days of snow by month, and we are filling in this graph over here. Let's keep the page open to show that information in a graph. So we're going to start with December. On our chart, we can see that there were 5 days of snow in December. So we find December on the graph, and we're going to start at the bottom and go up, not skipping any, and color in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 boxes. Here on the side, the numbers are the days of snow. The names of the month are down at the bottom. Go ahead and fill in the rest of your chart. January should have 9 boxes colored in. February gets 6 boxes colored in. And March gets 2 boxes colored in. Pause the video and take your time to fill in your boxes, and then press start again or play again when you're ready to answer the questions with me. Okay, you ready to answer the questions? Look at number 1. Which month had the most snow days? And we're going to find the answer by looking at our graph and seeing which one goes up the highest. On this one, we can see that January goes all the way up to number 9, and that had the most. So when we write that on the line, January, we're going to use a capital J because it's the name of a month. Go ahead and write January on the line. And then number 2 says, which month had the fewest snow days? Fewest means the smallest amount. So look on your graph again and see which line was the shortest or had the smallest amount. You should be able to see that March was the smallest with only 2 boxes filled in. We're going to write the word March on the line. Use a capital M because March is a proper noun. It's the name of a month. Okay, when we are ready, let's look over on this side. We are making now a graph that tells about a garden. It says Marta has a garden. She counted her plants. Make a real graph to answer the question. So we've got number of plants. Bean plants has 4. Corn plants has 7. Pumpkin plants have 2. And tomato plants has 3. So the first job you need to do is fill in your graph. So for bean, you're going to color in 4 boxes. Corn gets 7. Pumpkin gets 2. And tomato gets 3. Go ahead and pause the video while you fill that in, and then hit play when you're ready to answer the questions with me. Okay, for the questions, we're going to be using the graph that you colored in. So let's look at number 3. Which plant does Marta have the most of? Look at your chart and your graph. Which one has the most? It should be corn. You're going to write the word corn on the line for number 3. 7 was more than any other plant, so it has the most. Number 4, which plant does Marta have the least of? Remember that least means the smallest amount. Look on your chart, and which one did you color in on the graph that has the least amount or the smallest amount? It should be pumpkin, only having 2. So you're going to write the word pumpkin on the line for number 4. Then go down to number 5. How many more bean plants than tomato plants does Marta have? So this is where we are comparing and seeing where they are the same. So we're looking at this top line, bean plants, and the bottom line, tomato plants. So bean has 4, tomato has 3. So let's look. Same, same, same. Here's one extra for the bean plants. It doesn't have an extra for the tomato plants. So we're going to write 1 on the line. There's one more bean plant than tomato plant. And when you are ready, go to the back page. Stuart counted the fish in his tank. He made a table. Use the information in the table to make a picture graph. Write the name of the fish that Stuart had the fewest of. So here's the number of fish. Goldfish has 8. Tetra has 1. Angelfish has 4. Guppies have 6. You are going to fill it in down below by coloring the amount of boxes for each one. So for goldfish, color in 8 boxes. Tetra, color in 1. Angelfish, color in 4. And guppies, color in 6. Pause the video while you're doing your graph and then hit play again when you're ready to answer the question. All right, let's look at our question for number 6. It says, write the name of the fish that Stuart had the fewest of. Fewest means the smallest amount. When you look at your graph, you should be able to see that Tetra was the smallest amount, only having 1. So you are going to write the word Tetra on the line. That is a kind of fish, and Stuart had the smallest amount of that kind of fish. Go down to number 7, which is not true about Stuart's fish. So we're going to read each of these sentences and then pick the one that is not true. There are 8 goldfish. Well, look at goldfish. Do you have 8 boxes filled in? Yes. So that one's true. We can't pick that one. We're looking for the one that is not true. There are 19 fish in all. When you count them, you should come up with 19. Take a moment to count them all and see if you get 19. We can't pick that one. That is true. There are 3 more guppies than angelfish. So we have to look at angelfish having 4 and guppies having 6. Same, 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 extra, extra. There's only 2 more. So this one is not true. We could pick this one. Let's check the last one just to be sure. There are 4 kinds of fish. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, that's true. We can't pick it. So we're going to go back to C. Letter C is not true. It says there's 3 more guppies than angelfish, and there's only 2 more guppies than angelfish. So we're going to pick letter C. Down at the bottom, they want you to choose something to graph. It says it could be shoe colors, school supplies, or something else, and make a bar graph. So you need to pick something and fill it in. My graph of blank. Maybe it could be my graph of drinks, and you could list the drinks that you have in your refrigerator. I would have milk, cranberry juice, iced tea, and water. And then I would count maybe how many people like each one in my house and fill in the graph. Maybe you could do, like they said, shoe colors. So you might pick white, black, brown, and blue. And then you could go through all the closets in your house and count how many colors of shoes and fill in the graph. So that is up to you to make your own graph today for practice. You also have this page to do for practice today. This is our last day of tally marks and charts and graphing. So you can go ahead and do this on your own. It gives you an example and a question on each part, and then flip it over and do the other side. This is just for practice. You can do this part on your own. Maybe somebody can help you read it at your house. All right, starting next week, we're going to be working on shapes. So get caught up if you haven't been doing your math. Get caught up over the weekend and get ready to start shapes next week.